Mike McConville, Stratford, Ontario, Canada for StringTechWorkstations. We've got this top glued on now for this dreadnought guitar for Graham. This is the method I've been using now for years, so you can kind of see I've got these rubber bands. What's really nice about it is you can actually go around and kind of adjust and tighten it up as the glue's setting. I did my dry run. Once you spread the glue on the head block, tail block, and kerfing, you got to move pretty quick with hide glue. You don't have the luxury of sort of regular glue. Much shorter open time. I opted to go with gluing the top on first because it's a much more complex gluing procedure. So what we're doing here is we're trimming off the excess around the perimeter of the top. What I have here is a cutoff from a sound hole of a guitar. This surface is actually radiused, and then I have two felt peel and stick circular discs. As long as you've got 3 points of contact, this will make a beautiful cut, sort of low-tech solution to a high-tech problem. So we're just going to trim this off. So the rotation of this cutter, it goes like this. In a normal woodworking situation, you feed into the rotation of the cutter. But when you get to the outside edges, you do what is called a step cut. So you actually go with the rotation of the router. Then the reason you do that is you don't want the cutter to catch it here and then break it off along the grain of the wood. The edges, head block, and tail block have all been sanded to that perfect spherical radius. So next step is to notch the kerfing and fit the back. And there's an extra sense of urgency because we're gluing this on with hide glue. So with hide glue, you got to keep it moving. I have all my pieces of tape that's doubled up masking tape ready to snap them up and go. The other thing I wanted to point out to other builders or first time builders, or I guess any builders, I've got that yellow electrical tape all the way around there. This decreases the chance of the hide glue sort of running down the side or dripping onto the top in between the kerfing. This is one continuous piece of plastic tape that goes all the way around. Once the back is glued on, I can just reach in through the sound hole, grab the edge, give it a yank, and pull the whole thing out. But I do have a fastener that holds the cheeks of the heel in tight to get a perfect fit just during the gluing process, really. Once the neck is glued into place, I can just pull that fastener out. I don't really need it. I did notice in the last Martin factory tour that they're doing something similar for their traditional dovetail joint. They do have that fastener. I've actually been doing that now for the last few years. I get a nice mechanical fit on the dovetail, and then I put that insert and fastener in, panhead fastener, and just pull it in tight, do my finessing, get an absolutely 100% perfect fit, spread the hide glue, pull that in tight, let it set overnight, and I leave the fastener in. Realistically, you could just pull it out. The rims are radius to that 24-foot radius, braces sanded, carved, and so I'm ready to flick the switch on that glue pot and heat this up and get that back on. Hallelujah. We beat the humidity. It's still nice and dry today. Once that body is sealed up, that's a huge part of the process. Another tip for first-time builders, when I spread the glue, I don't smear the whole tail block. I just run it across the kerfing line, same width. Little bead of glue across there. I don't smear the whole thing. The reason for that is because the tail block is such a huge piece of wood, if it shrinks, and you'll see this on a lot of instruments, you'll see sort of pinch marks on either side on the back. So if you just run it along the line of the kerfing, this isn't going anywhere. It doesn't need to be glued. Just another observation after looking at guitars for half a century. The head block I do actually glue all the way across, and it's because obviously this is where the neck attaches, so you've got a lot of torque on that thing. We've already done our dry run multiple times, and that's kind of what we ended up with for bracing. Pretty minimalistic, not a lot of lumber there, but it's the form that's going to give us our strength. So I'll let that sit till tomorrow and then trim it off and get ready for the binding.